Spider-Man Brand New Day has been out for a bit now, so I feel like it's safe for me to make a spoiler review. So, if you don't want to be spoiled with the film or haven't seen it yet, just go away, because this will be spoiler not free. No, you don't get any non-spoiler reviews anymore from me. 3 days, I'm done. So yeah, let's just start off. I'm not wearing this mask. Okay, so this one probably not gonna be too long, but overall, just some of my opinions real quick. I really liked the movie. I think it was definitely Tom Holland's best movie. Definitely is a bit of a stretch. I'm sorry. No Way Home is still great. I hate when people just go back and say, oh, it's nostalgia bait because it has characters from old movies. And it's like, yes, but it also uses that to tell a story. And I think a pretty damn good one at that. So, I don't get why people hate on No Way Home nowadays. I honestly think it's incredibly... I think it's gone maybe from a bit overrated to incredibly overhated. But that's besides the point. This movie is great. I really, really like it. And yeah, Spider-Man. This is my favorite Spider-Man. Tom Holland has been my favorite Spider-Man. I think he has always been the most consistently written. You could argue that he was better or worse cast than Andrew Garfield. You can argue that Andrew Garfield's a better cast Spider-Man, but he was never the best written. Honestly, I always didn't really like how he was written. I mean, TASM 1 is good. TASM 2 is bad. I don't get the revisionist history around that. And Tobey, he was really only the best Spider-Man in writing-wise in Spider-Man 2. That's it. And this movie, I think, easily beats both of those out, writing-wise, with Spider-Man. I really like this sort of story of his, depression, especially with this conversation I had with the Punisher, where he's like, where the Punisher's like, you think I want to be in this situation? No, I don't. My entire family got murdered, and I want to avenge them. That's how I'm in this situation. You are putting yourself there, and he's sort of just telling him that don't do this, and same thing with Detective DeWolf. They're both live a life, get outside Spider-Man, and I really like the ending of the movie with him trying to reform his relationship with Ned. Now, it is an ambiguous-ish ending of, there are 3 options from when I saw a theory, but there are 3, 2 main theories of, Ned, because the muscle memory made him remember Peter. I don't know if that's the best one. That could be the case. Maybe. I don't know. The second theory is that the fist bump and the name Peter, although I don't get how the handshake would make him remember it's Spider-Man. Why wouldn't he just remember that from the Peter? But, whatever. And the third theory is that Ned is just slowly gaining back his memories from Jean Grey as Jean Grey went into Ned and MJ's mind. Maybe unlocked their erased memories. Who knows? Yeah. But I really did like the ending of how, Peter's going to go back and be with Ned and MJ, reform their relationship from the bottom up. And I really like the scene where he realizes that he can't just make them remember him whenever he wants. MJ reads his letter and is like, yeah, that me may have loved you, but I don't even know who you are. And I think it works really well with just this idea that it's done. What's done is done. They're not going to remember Peter just because he writes some letter and says some speech, I think it works well. And how Peter's going to have to now build it up from the bottom up. Although I did say this, but I really felt like there's that, in the beginning of the movie, there's that blonde woman who's like, oh, I'm your new neighbor or something like that. When, I swear this happened, when Peter went to go buy his apartment, and or really storage area, but anyway, went to go buy his apartment, and there was a blonde woman who's like, oh, I'm your neighbor. I so thought the end of this movie would be him moving on from Ned and MJ, then meeting her and finding out her name's Gwen. That I was like, okay, that's 100% what's happening at the end of this movie, and it didn't. Speaking of the ending, I really like the ending. Of course, yeah, Sadie Sink. I always merge together Sydney Sweeney and Sadie Sink's names. I have no clue. They're so different, but I always do it. I either say Sadie Sweeney or Sydney Sink. It's really weird. Anyways, Sadie Sink is, of course, playing Jean Grey. And yeah, she does a fantastic job. And I think Jean Grey in this movie is really great. I really liked her as an antagonist. I know some people complain that, oh, why is the Spider-Man movie introducing Jean Grey? I actually think it helps. Now we have a connection between Spider-Man and Jean Grey, and then the X-Men, through Jean Grey. And also, that's kind of just how things work. It's an interconnected universe. It should feel interconnected. I mean, think about it. Wolverine, Marvel's third most popular hero. Well, you could argue Iron Man's maybe a bit more popular nowadays, but Wolverine was Marvel's third most popular hero. And he was introduced in a Hulk comic, Punisher was introduced in a Spider-Man comic. If you only want, I'm not, you can, my point is, you can introduce characters a part of a different side of the universe in a different movie, I'm fine with that. I did bring up Punisher. Punisher in this movie is incredible. Like I said, I really love the scene with him and Peter talking about that. But he's also really funny. There are just shocking amount of comedical moments in this movie that came from him, MJ, and Peter all just in this, dynamic. I really like that dynamic, and especially, how he is in this movie. Although, one thing that that can be a critique, but honestly, I didn't expect it. Where is the explanation for what? I mean, I already complained about Punisher One Last Kill for not giving an explanation of what Punisher was doing during Kingpin's reign over New York. Because that's definitely the most plot-holey one. Because Punisher did something prior to that, and he knows about it, and he's gone up, and he knows the Kingpin. He's gone up against him in Season 2 of Daredevil, So why wouldn't he do that in more than Season 2? Spider-Man is also in R1. Why? Why didn't we have a montage of him, webbing up, AVTF soldiers? Why couldn't we just see something like that, I felt like that would have been just a bit helpful. Anyways, I did really I really did like John Bernthal's Punisher in this movie. Especially the ending scene where he tried to kill Jean Grey and then accidentally kill Spider-Man. I thought Spider-Man was just goner. I thought the theory that Spider-Man will have died, then the symbiote suit will have resurrected him in the post-credit scene for tease for Secret Wars, and him having the symbiote suit then. I so thought that was what was going to happen, but it didn't. I was really shocked. I really was. I was like, oh. As soon as he got shot, I was like, oh, so I'm right. No. And then I think we got a really touching moment of, of course, Punisher disguising himself as Spider-Man to get the crowd rallied up, but everyone and their support and how the city loves Spider-Man, I think it works really well, not only as a contrast to No Way Home, where they kind of put it as the city hates Spider-Man, but I really like how it just shows Spider-Man and his importance to New York, I think it was really nice, and how he is your friendly neighbor. I guess, what is his name, Bill Metzger, probably setting up, I presume they're setting up him as a future sort of X-Men-esque villain, because he does do mutant stuff in the comics. Honestly, this movie has a lot of, setups for the X-Men. Of course, Spider-Man making a universal dampener, I presume that's going to be important in the X-Men movie of, now we have a way to suppress mutant genes and their powers, other than Leech, I guess, or Wanda Maximoff when she's angry, but yeah, you have a way to suppress mutant powers, and they're going to use that to oppress the mutants. Did I say suppress mutant powers? Anyways, I thought that was going to be important. I presume Department of Damage Control is what will eventually make the Sentinels to hunt down the mutants. Jean Grey and this idea of how they're hunting down people because they're special are sort of bringing up this idea of the racism given towards mutants. Things like that. I think it works well. I think it's doing well. I think it's a nice way to set up the X-Men, but still make it feel like a Spider-Man movie, which is definitely the best part of this movie. Yes, it's setting up the X-Men and Jean Grey and stuff like that, but it just feels like a Spider-Man movie. This is the best Spider-Man we've ever gotten. Tom Holland has been my favorite Spider-Man, but this is also just, in my opinion, the best written Spider-Man has ever been, going through this depression arc, and also, to be or to not be Spider-Man. Am I Spider-Man or am I Peter Parker? Then his conclusion at the end of, I'm both. I think it worked well. I heard someone tell me that I heard a critique of that. Well, I feel like Spider-Man's mutations maybe could have helped a bit more with his arc. I think it did. From what I'm getting is that, like, if he went in fully with, if he, well, how am I saying this? I guess, sort of idea that if he just suppressed his human, spider, if he just, like, let it be unbalanced, then he couldn't be, then he'd just be Spider-Man forever. There would be no Peter Parker. But if he also just permanently suppressed it, then he would eventually just, no, you can't just not deal with your body, you can't just stop. Like, I like the question that Bruce Banner asked of what parts of nature are good or bad. Although a bit hypocritical since you've been suppressing the Hulk for a decade, but who am I to judge, right? But no, I thought it was very good. And then how the conclusion is that he's finally being able to balance his mutation to become both Peter and Spider-Man at the same time and not lose one or the other. Anyways, that's what I took from it. I mean, there's a bit of flaws in that theory, but overall, I really did like Peter's arc in this movie, and I thought it was great. Ned and MJ were definitely my biggest surprise of how much I really liked their inclusion in the film. I know people were doubting it, like, oh, I don't want them to undo No Way Home. They don't undo No Way Home. I think they only improve Spider-Man's arc, as he's sort of just been watching them from afar through Ned's, like, Instagram lives and stuff like that, and going to his party. He's just been watching them, but never actually interacting. And it's so sad when, like, you hear Ned talk about how, oh, this friend and this guy, I could have never done it with anyone else. And then Peter's just watching it in his apartment, all sad. Although I did think we'd see more of him trying to be with Evie, being, like, that Evie's the only companion that he has, and it's just supposed to bring back the idea of this. This is so sad that, an AI is his only companion. Anyways, I thought it would work really well. And yeah. Now let's talk about Jean Grey. I really like Jean Grey's backstory. I mean, Sarah Grey is neat. They killed her in a different way. Also, fun fact, Sarah Grey just came back to life in the comics. And I almost destroyed the multiverse or universe or whatever. But that's besides the point. I really like the backstory with Sarah Grey explaining how Jean's powers work. I like how they show how OP Jean is at the end of the film. I think it really works well. Yeah, I was about to say Sync. Okay, we're good now. Sync does a really great job in the role. I mean, she's probably the most talented of the Stranger Things actors, like the kids, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, Caleb McLaughlin is probably a close second. But I'd say Sadie Sink was probably the best overall. Anyways, I did really like her. I thought she was great in this movie. Jean Grey, very excited to see her in the X-Men. Although, one small agree, you could argue that they made her too bad of a person. Because she does assault Peter and MJ in the middle of the film. So you definitely could argue you made her too bad of a person. Although they'll probably just say Phoenix Force, I don't know, or trauma, whatever, I don't know. That is maybe a slight critique, but that's not for the movie per se, that's more for later and how they may need to fix that up, because Jean Grey did some bad things in the movie. I did say Bill Metzer was a good villain. Oh, Yelena. It's a cameo, but it's one of the best cameos we've had in a while, because it's just a cameo. I mean, it's not even a cameo, it makes sense. I mean, yeah, Spider-Man, New York's protector, would probably ask the new Avenger for some help when he needs it, because they're based in New York. And it's also a neat scene. It's better than, like, the one from Far From Home. It's sort of the same joke. An idea. It's like they had the same joke, but one was pulled off much better than the other in this movie. Anyways, I really did like Yelena's inclusion because she also didn't just show up for one scene and leave. She wasn't a Matt Murdock where it's like, oh my god, it's Matt Murdock, and it's like a good scene on its own, but it's like, okay, did it really have to be Matt Murdock? And I feel like, yeah, this one kind of did have to be Yelena, first off, and she wasn't just a one-off character. She appeared multiple times throughout, really, like, I believe twice in the film. So, like, she didn't show up. I mean, yeah, she didn't show up that much, but she did show up. And Florence Pugh is having the year of her career with Dune 3, Avengers Doomsday, and this. But yeah. And last thing, which is probably my biggest disappointment per se, is the Hulk. Listen, I love the Hulk in the movie. I think Bruce Banner had the best reign he had. Oh my god, Bruce Banner has had the best reign he's had in years. The Hulk fight is maybe the best ever. It was great. But, maybe I don't really like how he kind of just went to a psych ward, and then that's it. Like, that's it? I don't know. I felt like maybe they could have written more of an ending for his character. Maybe he shows up at the end. I don't know. I don't know. But, like, I felt like they could have done more. And then, like, here's a critique, but maybe it was just me getting my hopes up. Tim Stone's in this movie. I feel like they wanted him to be as everyone thought, you know, I feel like most people were like, oh, they're probably going to set him up for a future villain. They didn't do that. He was just there as a cameo. And, like, the cameos are good. Scorpion, maybe it's a bit of critique, is that I would wish that Scorpion showed up more as Scorpion, more than Jean Grey Scorpion. But yeah. Jean Grey, I actually think is, like, yes, she's not a traditional Spider-Man villain, but that doesn't hurt the movie. I think she's actually a pretty fantastic villain. Tom has had consistently great villains. Not gonna lie. Like, hot take. No. Actually, yeah. Tom may have the best villains. Amazing Spider-Man has the worst villains. We all agree. Tobey, yes. Doc Ock and Green Goblin are the two best Spider-Man villains. Probably. Yeah, they are. And Sandman's a great villain, too. But then, you know, New Goblin's a fine villain, and Venom's not a good villain at all. Well, I feel like Tom's trilogy doesn't really have that. Vulture is maybe a top 3 Spider-Man. Honestly, he can definitely be that third Spider-Man spot. He was a really good villain. Mysterio is also a really great villain. Maybe my 4th or 5th. All the villains, yes, they're not technically Tom's, but, I mean, they didn't just take the script. I think Green Goblin as the main villain is maybe ever so slightly worse than he was in Spider-Man 1. You know, I think it was really, really good. I think he was a great villain. I think Jean Grey here is a fantastic villain. So yeah, Tom Holland Spider-Man may have my favorite villains. I don't know if that's a hot take, but he may have my favorite villains. Best Spider-Man, best villains, you know. Anyways, I can't wait to see more of this trilogy. Also, lastly, Destin Daniel Craig did an incredible job with this movie. How it was directed, the choreography. Oh my god, the choreography, especially in the hand fight. The only problem with the hand fight is that most of it was seen in the trailers. But, like, other than that, oh my god, it's so good. Also, Aunt May's cameo in, like, Peter's mind, that was really good. I loved Aunt May in this movie, and with the mind cameos, it was great. It was great. Honestly, that whole final act was really, really good, in my opinion. Honestly, the whole film was really, really good. Like I said, I will rewatch it, like, in a bit. Well, not, like, in a few days. I will rewatch it. But I don't think my opinion changed. I still have it around a 9.7 to 9.8 out of 10, which makes it my favorite live-action Spider-Man movie. I can definitely see on a rewatch it becoming my favorite Spider-Man movie, period, above the Spider-Verse films. Mainly because I think Spider-Verse films are a tad bit overrated. I think people saying they're the best comic book film of all time, you are insane. You are mental. But other than that, like, okay, sure, I guess. Anyways, that gets real close at the end of the video. I'll give my every Spider-Man movie ranking. So at number 11 is TASM 2. Yeah, it's not a good movie. I don't get why we have been, like, revising it. Oh, it's actually a great movie. No, Electro sucks. The New Goblin sucks. The visuals are great, sure. But, like, everything outside of that. And Gwen's death was great. But everything outside of that, no bueno. Number 10 is Spider-Man 3. Memes are really good in the movie, sure. But other than that, I mean, Sandman. If it was just a Sandman movie, it would have been great. But it wasn't, so it kind of sucked. As you know, it was a solid movie, solid. Number 9 is Far From Home. I actually quite like Far From Home. I think it's a pretty good movie. Mysterio's great. Some flaws, like it feeling maybe a bit more like an Iron Man movie, or because it has an Iron Man villain. Well, they kind of made a Spider-Man villain, an Iron Man villain, but like the point's still the same. I like and Nick Fury in the movie is great. Overall, it's a pretty good movie. Everything. Number 8 would probably be 2001. It's a good movie. It's a good movie, don't get me wrong. It's like maybe even great. It's just not that good. You know, it's just not that good. It's not good enough. And Spider-Man movies are pretty good. Let me think. Oh yeah, 7, hot take. Spider-Man 1, the original Raimi one. It's not bad, don't get me wrong. I think it's a great movie, like an 8.3. But it's so overrated. Anyone who's like, oh, Spider-Man 1's is a masterpiece of comic book films. Oh, it's so good, it's perfect. Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2 are masterpieces. Okay, I use the term masterpiece maybe a bit strictly. But, like, no, it's not. No, it's a great movie. The only thing that I'd say it's equal to Spider-Man 2 in is that it has a really good villain in the Green Goblin. That's it. I mean, MJ, let's not talk about it. Let's move on. Number 6 would be... Yeah, it'd be Homecoming. Homecoming is a really great start, in my opinion. I really like it. Vulture, as I said, great villain. Number 5 and 4, honestly, yes, I do swap No Way Home and Spider-Man 2. They're both really great. Both have really great villains. Both have the best Spider-Man story outside Brand New Day. And all that jazz. They're all really good. They're all fantastic, amazing movies. Then my number 3 spot would probably be, for now, Brand New Day. And then Into and Across get swapped at number 1 and 2. Anyways, that's my opinion. Drop yours down in the comments below. Subscribe. And